I don't try to make it complicated. In fact, I try to make it so simple. My goal is not to become famous. My goal is not to sound complicated. My goal is not to confuse you. My goal is to explain to you what I've learned in such an easy way that you will actually understand it with your guts, even if you don't have scientific brain. So I divide all this information that I have to share in very simple pieces. And I would like to start with a very basic question. What is life? Are you alive?
Yes.
How do you know that you're alive? You say because you're moving, but there are mechanical toys that are moving. So why do you know that you're alive? Can you think, forget about the books you read, just think for yourself and tell me, why do you think you're alive?
Because I can breathe.
Because you can breathe? Well, the vacuum cleaner is breathing too. Love, you feel love, that's very, very nice.
I have intuition.
You have intuition?
Smile every day.
A smile every day? There are smiling toys there. So why do we know we're alive? And where is life in your body? When you show that you're alive, where is exactly life in your body? Is it just in your nose or in your head or in your fingers or in the parts that are moving? Can you ask yourself, every single person, where is life in your body? Everywhere? Where everywhere? Well, did you read about this in a scientific book, or this is how you feel? What is that's pouring from our eyes, which they say it's the windows of soul? Why is that sometimes it is uncomfortable to look in somebody's eyes? And you can take a doll and look in doll's eyes for hours, you wouldn't feel no discomfort. But when you're looking in people's eyes, you definitely experience something, and sometimes it could be very, very dramatic. And you met a friend who you didn't see for a long time. Actually, you didn't want to see that friend, and you glanced at him and you just turned away because you didn't want him to notice that you glanced at him. But then he knows that he saw you right away. How do you know? And you can stand on the other side of the football field, and I look in your pupils and you look in mine. The pupils are as small as letters in the book. If I place the book on the other side of the football field, can you read the book? No. How do you know exactly that I'm looking right at you there? How do you know that I'm looking right at you? That's life in us. So what do you think? Is life important? Yes. Whatever has life in it is called living things, living matter. Whatever doesn't have life in it still has some vibration, but we call it non-living matter. I don't want to use the word dead matter, but not life. We've made out of life, and so we need life for us to keep being alive. And every single cell out of 35 trillion cells in our body has life in it. Actually, in Toronto at the Total Health, I took a picture of my entire body by using advanced Kirlian photography, and I figured out that my energy is actually bigger than me. It's just like this. And so this is all life in me. So every cell in our body has life in it. Now, in the soil we have pieces of rocks and pieces of matter that is not alive. And then there is a layer of soil, and then there are plants. There are beautiful plants that have roots, and the roots reach for those pieces like calcium and nitrogen and silicon and iron. So they grab those pieces of minerals, and then they pull them, they suck them inside, and now as soon as it goes above the surface, then the sunshine touches it with its rays, and what scientists call photosynthesis happens. Well, I think it's a miracle of life happens when sun touches these minerals in this plants. This mineral instantly becomes alive. The birth happens. It's like ejaculation, just like this mineral that used to be dead and useless becomes alive. If you would be able to eat those minerals, that would be wonderful. But you cannot eat them. When you have osteoporosis, doctor cannot tell you, hey, go, get some marble in the mountains and crush it in your Vitamix blender and just begin eating it, and you'll have lots of calcium. No, you'll just have kidney stones, nothing else. So, but the kingdom of plants can do this for us. They transfer that into something our body could recognize. Now, in this plant we have the same minerals, calcium and iron and silicon and you name it, magnesium, but then these ones have life in them and our body could recognize them. When they get inside of our body, here you have a bone from your body which has lots of calcium, but somewhere there's no calcium, and so this bone needs desperately some calcium. And then when you're eating that plant, that calcium, when it gets with the flow of your blood to your body can talk to it the same language. Think for a moment what has to happen in your body so that piece of plant has to become part of your bone. First of all, how will this calcium know where to go? Like you came to this church, there was a sign, you have to go into this room. How does this know? It doesn't have no brain. It doesn't have, we think, no intellect. How does this piece of calcium know to become part of your bone? Because it speaks the same language. Because they have the same vibration that they recognize. It's like living creatures. It's like little humans, like little people. It's amazing. So whenever you need calcium somewhere and you eat high quality calcium there and it's live calcium, you rest assured that calcium will come directly when it's necessary most. Isn't that a miracle? That's a miracle. Now imagine that this napkin has lots of calcium in it because it's made from the wood. It does. Only it's not live calcium. Do you think that if I'll put this napkin in there, in this hole in the bone, it could take the space of the calcium? Will it be able to talk the same language? No. When you open the door and your neighbors, your family, people who you know come to you, you say, oh, hi, come on in, right? And then suddenly there will be a stranger who doesn't speak your language, who is dressed differently than you. You don't recognize him. Who are you? Will you let him in? Answer. Will you let him in? You say, oh, come on in, be my guest. No. Somebody who looks very strange and very different, you will say, hey, I'll call police, get out of here. That's what your body does when you get in some not alive matter. So your body treats it as toxins. And now what do we beautiful humans so smart do? We grow precious organic fruits and vegetables, and then we take them and put them in a pot and boil and kill this life in them, and then we put it in our body and we believe that it's going to work just the same. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? Does it make sense? I think it's pretty simple, that it's not the same. God, nature, universe created this order that things are there and there are so many of them, and then there are lots of plants covering the whole land except asphalt where we placed it, right? And then these plants are working for us. We don't have to pay for that. It's free. They just grab in those pieces of minerals and then they expose it to the sun, and then they turn them into live elements that are vibrating with the same frequency, which is actually 12 megahertz per minute or per second, just like our body. And so then we consume those fresh, crispy, whatever, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, and our body has everything it needs, abundance. And then we die, we go back in the soil, and then there are more elements, and it's just like a circle of life.